live. All right, tonight, check your head, Beastie Boys. Yeah, check your head. Beastie Boys' third album. This is one of Raul's picks.
Yeah.
Second ever.
He had to check his head since last show.
He had to check his head.
That's true.
In honor. All right. The question I have, and I know I asked it last time. Donnie had heard the album a long time ago, and the Bolts, neither one of you had heard it, right?
No. I was always thought Check Your Head was their fourth album after Ill Communication. And I was surprised to see it was their third.
Yeah, Ill Communication is their fourth, right?
Yeah, this was right after.
Right.
The only thing I knew was from the videos that I saw on MTV when this came out.
Yeah, What You Want, that was it.
Right. And then
that video played so much I got tired of the song. That video was played
a lot.
Seemed like once every half hour. Seemed like
Yeah,
First video I ever saw on MTV.
Was that
Really?
one?
Yep.
Nice.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay, cool. What other question? So you never heard this one. You had never. The only one that you guys were more familiar with, if you were more familiar, was the License to Ill.
yeah.
You know,
In Paul's Boutique.
Fight for Your Right to Party. Yes, that one.
Yeah.
The first one. Okay. All right. So. All right. Okay. All right. It's a big departure from License to Ill.
Big time.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
It's night and day.
I'm very familiar with the first two albums, License to Ill and Paul's Boutique. This one, I don't know if Hailey, I don't know if you remember, my friend Jeff was on with us one time.
Mhm.
And he's a huge Beastie Boys fan. Okay. And that's how I was introduced to Check Your Head. Now, when I say I listened to it a long time ago, I listened to it a long time ago one time.
Okay.
And it was through him that I had heard it, because he spoke of it in high regard over the rest of their catalog.
Okay. All right. No, I'm glad this was an album we hadn't heard before. Was it what you were expecting? Was it what you were expecting when you heard it?
Me?
Yeah. Anybody?
It wasn't for me. No.
You didn't expect that, right?
No.
I did, because I thought it was later on than it was.
Because when the first time I listened to it, I told him about halfway through, I'm like, man, this album's like all over the place.
Yeah. And
But they fit like a puzzle.
yeah.
And they all fit like a puzzle. It's like you could hear them individually, but when you hear them all, it's like they just flow into each other.
They definitely. All right, go ahead.
I was going to say to Boat's point about thinking it was a later album.
Yeah.
This type of album is usually a later in your career album.
Yeah.
If you can follow me, that I mean, for them to like stretch a little bit, spread their wings, and at the same time, not a lot of the other bands that had albums like this were left to their own devices earlier in their output.
It's kind of like that
If you know
little
what I mean.
documentary he shared in the chat, that they didn't have no supervision, so they were doing what they wanted.
Right.
And that's the sound you got.
And when I saw the video, it like halfway through, I love this album. Like while watching the video, I made my decision on it. Because
you while watching half of the album, what?
When I was watching the video, because I was indifferent on the album, but as I was watching the video, I made my mind that the album was awesome. Just the fact that they just did what they wanted, and they took all these inspirations and made their thing. Then I couldn't imagine what the record company was like when they got the finished album.
Yeah.
It's like, this is not what we signed up for.
I'm kind of the same way. After watching the video and get a little insight on, you know, the making of it and what was going on and everything, it kind of brings a little light to the album. Because at first I really wasn't
feeling it
at all.
Yeah.
I mean, there was obviously some good songs here and there, but once you hear kind of the backstory and how all over the place it is for a reason,
yeah,
it is a lot more enjoyable.
Yeah, you have to have that external information.
Yeah. Because I didn't get it the first time, but then again, I hadn't listened to it as much as you guys have.
Like I said, look at this Motley Crew, Lady Fantastic.
So they,
I got into the Beastie Boys from my brother. My brother was a big Beastie Boys, and he got me into it with oh my God, License to Ill. And when I heard License to Ill and I heard Zeppelin riffs and all that, I was like, oh my God! I remember we were leaving the mall. I remember I hit the curb, you know, making the left, and we were just blasting. It was like, wow, what is that? And then I kind of fell off, and Paul's Boutique was totally different than License to Ill. And then, so I really didn't get into it. Then my brother got me into that. And then this came out when I first moved out of my house. And I got an apartment, right? So I was like 22, 23. And dude, I had the greatest neighbors. I lived there for 2 years. And I never got a complaint from nobody, because I was always blasting music. I mean, those were the greatest neighbors I've ever had. I didn't know any of them, but nobody ever called the cops. Nobody ever complained. Nobody ever bitched. And I was just listening to this album, among others, like on a loop. It was always playing. I wasn't watching TV. I was listening to music and just blasting and drinking and other things. And I just fell in love with this album. And then I got I saw this tour. They toured with Lollapalooza. And I got super close to the stage, and they were all playing their own instruments. They play their own instruments on here. And it was fantastic. It was just incredible. They weren't the headliner either. They came on, they probably came on around 5, 6 o'clock. So it was, it was getting a little late, and it was just an amazing. I couldn't believe I was standing there watching them. It was just amazing.
That's definitely that would be a dream show for me to see.
That was a dream show. For me.
That must have been like the second Lollapalooza.
Second one. It's
Yeah.
92. It was 92, and like I think I said it last time, or we said it backstage. That was a Saturday all-day concert. Sunday, got called to work. We had to get ready for Andrew, and Andrew. Nobody knew there was a hurricane coming because it wasn't such a. Andrew changed everything, and so the concert was Saturday all day. Got home, worked all day, and Andrew hit that Sunday night, and everything. So it was an amazing time. An amazing time. All right, so Donnie, tell us about the album. Tell us, did it sell anything? It wasn't a big hit, was it? Or it wasn't like a big commercial success at first, right?
So, I guess a little background into the previous album. Paul's Boutique did not sell well, apparently. So that was one of
500. It only sold 500,000.
It made platinum, but barely.
Right.
And it wasn't enough for what the company wanted, or what they were projecting it was supposed to be.
Right. And that was one of the leading factors for this album, them kind of not paying attention to it.
Because License to Ill sold like 13 million or something, and then Paul's Boutique sold 500,000. So it's super underperformed.
Until it was appreciated later on.
Right.
Have you guys given Paul's Boutique a listen by chance?
I
Yes,
haven't.
I own it.
You have?
Yeah,
I own it.
It's
I prefer.
it's probably my favorite.
it's fantastic.
I prefer it.
I prefer it to Check Your Head.
Yeah.
It's a better they're both, and then Ill Communication is fabulous too though. Though it's almost like that 4 albums. It's almost like Pink Floyd, you know. I brought up that 4-album stretch. That's their 4-album stretch. Even License to Ill, you could include it. But yeah, Paul's Boutique is. But it's that's all samples. That's samples, right? And then on this one, they play their own instruments, and it's more jazzy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, 'cause they went back to their punk roots with it.
and they're punk, right?
Yeah.
You never think that Beastie Boys were punk, but that's how they started.
I didn't know any of that until I picked this up.
What is that?
And I think they were a great punk band too, by the way.
They definitely like the Bad Brains. You could tell.
Dude,
So
they were so fabulous.
yeah, this is like the anthology, and it's there's some stuff on here from those early days, like demo sessions and stuff.
Yeah.
And I read the booklet that came with this, and that's where I found out that they had a punk history.
They were
Like,
fast too.
oh wow!
Riot Fight is a breakneck hardcore song.
Which one?
Riot Fight.
Yeah.
That one's pretty dang old fast.
Yeah. It hits you.
But for anybody getting into the Beastie Boys, I highly recommend this.
Like the thing is, you were probably thinking it was just going to be rapping and stuff like that, and it's not. It is, and it's not. It's so much more. That's why I was excited for you guys to hear it.
And even the Bad Brain influence on this album is huge for how different each track is, because it goes hip hop, hardcore, and reggae in like a 3-song span. Yeah. And that is so Bad Brains. Like the fast song you ever heard, and then the slowest song you ever heard.
Yeah, and if you see this, it starts off. This song starts off slow. It's more jazzy, and then with finger licking good hits, it goes into more rap, I guess. More they're more, you know, they're more, and then it slows down again at the end. But it does have that one slow. Something's got to give. Right there, it's a fantastic album. The way all the songs, they're all different and they flow into each other. It's like, I'm glad you liked it somewhat.
There's a consistent rhythm throughout it. I noticed it earlier when I was listening to it. It's like a consistent, like, I don't know if it's the low end or what it is, like them
Chad
filtering it through the whole thing. I'm not sure. So it was released in April of '92. So it just had an anniversary here last month. Recorded 91 to 92 at G-Sun Altwater Village in California. And G-Sun is the studio that the group built for themselves. Clocks in at a massive 53 minutes. Although for as many tracks as there are, it doesn't feel like 53 minutes.
It goes by fast, right?
They're quick because it's short. They're short songs.
You know, this album's 10 minutes shorter than Diamante Gales. It don't seem like that. 10 minutes shorter.
And the producer was Mario Caldado Jr., who was the engineer on Paul's Boutique.
Yeah. For some reason, I thought Rick Rubin was on this album, but I think he's on Sabotage, right? I think he's on Ill Communication.
I don't think Rick Rubin would have condoned a lot of this album.
No.
I thought he was on it, but I thought he worked on it, but it wasn't him.
No, they had separated from Rick Rubin by this point. This is when they signed with Capitol.
Okay.
Yeah, Rubin would have been like doing System of a Down around this time, right? Or
No.
Johnny Cash.
Johnny
Yeah, Johnny Cash. I was gonna say System of a Down was a little later.
Danzig.
later 90s. Yeah, Danzig too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 92. That would have been Danzig's third album.
Yeah. So his hands were tied, and he had time for no Beastie Boys.
So,
Yeah.
Well, they're busy screwing him over. I think Bad Blood went on with that.
oh, is that what happened?
Yeah, they were like weren't getting paid like their royalties and everything that they were supposed to be getting. I think.
Who, the Beastie Boys?
Yeah,
I don't know that.
there's a documentary I've seen somewhere at some time in my life, and it kind of touched on that, and they were getting screwed bad financially by Def Jam Records.
I guess
And it caused a lot of bad blood, and that's one reason why they went ahead and signed with Capitol.
well, how many
But there,
albums? Go ahead.
there's like a, I wouldn't necessarily call it a documentary, but it's kind of like it's a spoken documentary that the other two surviving guys did in front of like a live audience, like a show, but they're telling their life story.
Mhm.
And behind them they got the screen and they're showing pictures and videos and stuff. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend that. It's absolutely phenomenal.
I have not seen that.
I'll try and look for I'll try and find out the name of it.
Yeah.
And I'll let you guys know. So good.
Dude, Beck is fantastic, Lady F. I love Beck.
This is true. He does like making music.
Beck?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Odelay. I like a lot of his albums.
I just heard a song recently listening to like random songs on Spotify, and he did a track with Gorillaz.
Uh-huh.
It was pretty good.
Beck is very good. That's another deep dive. Beck. He has a lot. Yeah.
So five singles came off of this album.
And like 12 music
Let me
videos.
get the info back
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
It did pretty dang well.
I think this one is going to be, like, if we do favorite songs, it's like, which one do you, it's like, it's so, I don't have the name of these songs. I just know the songs, you know?
Yeah, I know I have a favorite song.
I got one too, but I got a favorite song. I don't got any song I don't like. They all flow. They all serve a purpose in my opinion, and they're all fine. Nothing. To me, it's almost like one freaking song. It just flows into each other,
It's usually two fingers that goes down.
even though they're all different.
One thing I noticed with critical reception, the critics were very critical
I read that.
because it stepped out of the Beastie Boys' comfort zone a little bit.
Which it
Well,
makes
one-
sense because this is their third album and all three of them are different.
All three of
And
them.
Yeah.
I think Ill Communication is like a mix of the three. The fourth album is like a mix of the three, and it's
Yeah.
like they're finally comfortable.
It's
They found their groove, I guess. This is bizarre.
it's the rug that tied the room together.
Yeah, that's exactly. That's exactly. And then they go. Then they go with Intergalactic, and then the Five Girls, I think it was, which was like a love letter, a love album to New York, and it's
Yeah.
the Five Girls Brooklyn. And then they have one, I think it's called the Mix Up, and that one's just them playing jazz, just playing instrumentals. Bro, that is fantastic in my opinion too. Not their best, but it's on. And I'll put it on and I'll just let it play in the background. You know? So.
Hello Nasty's the last one I heard.
Hello, yeah, and Hello Nasty. Wow, Hello
Yeah.
Nasty.
Yeah, I've heard almost all the discography, but not. I've heard the first 3 albums and first 4 albums all the way through, and everything else I kind of cherry picked and heard parts of other albums. But I
Those
think
four.
they're.
No, go ahead. What were you saying?
I think their second to last album is the only one I haven't heard like anything from.
I don't remember which one.
I don't know what it's called. Their very last one's good.
Is it Hello Nasty? Their last one?
The Hello Nasty's the one with Intergalactic on it.
That's Intergalactic. That's right.
Then it's to the Five Bros.
To the Five Girls, it's the love letter to New York.
Yeah, and then the Mix Up, and then the Hot Sauce Committee Part 2, which is their last one.
Okay.
I like the last one because that's when they did that promotional video with like Elijah Wood and Jack Black and that 25-minute movie.
I think I've seen that.
That's good. I'll send that.
I don't remember that album. I've listened to it. I just don't remember.
They're definitely unique, man. Creative geniuses that didn't take anything seriously.
No.
That's what I love about them. They didn't take everything so serious, at least by what they project to the public, you know.
Well, they were very into like the Tibetan.
Yeah. Because I mean, you used to see all the shit that they would do, like at the MTV Music Awards, and they used to do like some off the wall stuff. You know, even their videos were kooky and goofy and fun. And
Well, yeah, it's like Intergalactic, the robots. You know, they're freaking. It's like Godzilla kind of shit, and Sabotage.
Sabotage is probably to me one of the greatest music videos of all time.
It's
Fine.
the
Fine.
greatest.
It's
It's better than Thriller by a long shot.
huh?
It's
See,
better
so
than
what do you
Thriller by a long shot.
But did you hear? But in this album, they're Columbo. They're throwing out Barnaby Jones. They're throwing out all the '70s detectives. It's their shit, their jam, and they just made that into Sabotage. They just moved it. Hey, you know what? And they became the detectives. But they're referencing the detectives in this album. They're dude, they're fantastic, dude.
They're something special because like they write good songs, they play instruments, they play them well. You
Yeah,
know,
good- great
everything
music
they do
taste.
is good. As far as I'm concerned.
All right. With my first marriage, when it was at the end, I was still living at home, right? And I think it was like let's say Christmas Day, and I was jamming the Beastie Boys like Christmas morning, right? Or you know what? I don't think it was Christmas. I think it was Thanksgiving. It was Thanksgiving because Publix was closed, so I was home, and I was blasting Beastie Boys at home, and nothing. And then it was Thanksgiving and all this, and then later on, I heard later, much later, a few months later, that it wasn't blasting the Beastie Boys on Thanksgiving morning didn't go well with my wife. She was like, I can't believe this is what the comment was, I can't believe this is what I'm listening to on Thanksgiving morning. It's the Beastie Boys at full blast. And getting ready for, because every Thanksgiving was at my house. When I heard that quote, I was like, "Yep, I was with the wrong person." I'm glad I'm glad I cut my ties when I did. That wasn't the right person to at that moment. You know, it's like the Beastie Boys was like another reassurance that I made the right decision and moving on. I was like, come on, man, that's what you're gonna complain about. Get over yourself. Anyway, that was a stupid little story, but it's part of my story.
Beastie Boys are my life.
Yeah, Beastie Boys are my life.
Yeah. We do the album cover, or what do y'all want to? Is there anything on the album
Yeah.
cover?
Where's that at? Background. Perception.
Negatory.
Dang it.
I listen to it too. I know. I remember I had this shirt, the one that Bo has. That's the one shirt I bought. You know, you always gotta buy a shirt. Well, back then it was more of a, and that was my shirt. That's the shirt I had from the concert. Yeah.
Got the old Salvation Army.
Nice.
Like right after you picked it, found it.
Nice. I gotta get it again. I gotta get this shirt again. Beastie Boys for life. Yeah, man. It's like they were just amazing. They were such badasses. And it's like you say, Bo, they just did what they did. You know, it was like it was silly, it was dumb, it was like when they came out with License to Ill, it was just about them being like frat boys drinking, not caring, you know.
Yeah.
And then you could see the evolution. It's pretty freaking awesome, if you ask me. They didn't stay in the same thing. It wasn't on repeat. They just found their groove.
I definitely appreciate the fact that they're constantly evolving
Yeah.
with their music, every album, you know. I appreciate that.
So, Bo, how many times did you hear this album? 20 times?
Probably, yeah, around 20.
Wow.
15 to 20 times.
Wow, I am honored. That makes me so happy. That is awesome. I thought you guys might have lived it because I don't think it was what you guys were expecting. It's so much better. Donnie, I'm not gonna put you on the spot this time.
Yes.
What did you think?
What are you asking me? What I think?
Yeah, what did you think? I guess I am putting you on the spot.
So this is one of those ones where it's so eclectic,
Yeah,
that you have to listen to it 20 times. You have to listen to it more than once to get the gist. And as I was listening to it earlier, before I was listening to it earlier, I just didn't, like Jim said, I didn't get it. But listening to it again and doing the research and watching the video, everything makes sense about this album. And it's something that it's an album that even someone just finding the Beastie Boys can appreciate.
Yeah.
Because of I don't want to say they took their time, but they took great care into what they were producing. They knew what they wanted to do. They didn't have any tie. They didn't have any tie downs. There was nothing holding them back from putting down what they put down. They utilized their own studio, the brand new studio, and they brought in all these other genres, and not many other bands or groups can say they've done that and done it with a certain amount of success. This album peaked at number 10, and it's a double platinum album. So I call that a fucking win.
Yeah.
You know, so like I said, it's one, and aptly named because it's a thinking album, because you got to think about all the change, all the subtle nuances, the changes. What am I listening to in this song? What genre did they pull in here?
Yeah.
You know, how does all this fit together? Well, you said it earlier. It's a puzzle.
Yeah, it's a puzzle.
And you have to think about it. You have to figure it out. And if you don't, you're just not going to get it.
Yeah.
You got to take the time. You got to sit down. You got to listen to it, and that's it's. And in a certain aspect, I can probably say that about the last album that we did, the Nick 13 album, because there was subtle nuances and chord changes in that one as well that, you know, they need your undivided attention. So it's not one you can just sit and get the grasp of by just letting it play in the background.
No, it's not background music. Well, it is. For me, it is. I'll just put it on and it just plays. So, but I've heard it so many times.
Yeah.
And it's become background music to me.
If you've gone through the motions and you've become familiar with the album, then you know then it's you just vibe with it.
Were you guys surprised by how fast it was? Because it's a lot of jazz, a lot of different beats. You wouldn't expect. I wouldn't think you guys would expect that.
Not at all.
Yeah. There was like 6 or so instrumentals sprinkled throughout the album. And at first I was skipping a lot of them. But the more I listened to it, it's just can't. That has to be in between this song.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it helps with the pacing.
Yes.
It helps so it doesn't seem so like crumbled.
Mm-hmm.
You want it to breathe. And
Yes.
It's your intermission.
Yeah. It's an,
It keeps them getting burnt out. Keeps them getting burnt out on the same.
Because if it was 55 minutes of what you want, it wouldn't work.
No.
It's filler, but filler with a purpose.
Yes. It's in my opinion, it's a fantastic album, and I think you said it earlier. I think Paul Bluth's Boutique is a better overall album, but it doesn't take anything away from this one, if that makes any sense. Because I think them playing, they're two totally different albums, and there's actually in this nothing seems out of place. I could point out things I don't feel are in place in Paul's Boutique, but I still think that's a better album, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I can't take out a song from this album. It won't make sense. It won't flow.
After the stream ends, to anybody's watching this, I'm gonna in the comment section, I'm gonna post a link to that video that we referenced a few times so far. That way you can see it for yourself. Also,
it'll add an enormous amount of context.
It will, because if you never heard the album and you're just listening to the first time or second time, you might not get a grasp of what's behind it. But the video will kind of help you where it'll bring it to light for sure.
You will learn more in that 5-minute video than you would have ever thought possible.
I got an album.
So kudos to the people that did that video. It was
yeah
well done.
So remember, as soon as the video ends, once the comment section opens up, Because right now it's just a chat. I can't.
Yeah.
But I'll post it so people can see it.
Do you guys got any favorite songs?
I do.
I do, and I think we have the same one.
You guys have?
Yeah, I think we have the same one.
I have a lot. So I got one that's in my top 10 of songs.
Okay.
And that's, I think I said it before, it's Something's Gotta Give. Something's Gotta Give. Okay. It's when you're in a bit of an altered state and that song hits, it's just, and it's the slowest song, right? I would say it's one of the, it's a slow ass song. And every time I listen to this, or I used to, and I was impaired, that song would hit, and I would just go into a different zone, and it'd be like, "Wow, I'm somewhere else." And something when it says something's coming to the surface, it was just like, and it goes, and oh my god, bro, my mind would just, I'll be like, oh. I think I told you guys last time. I took my oldest son. He was like 12, 13, and his first concert was a Beastie Boys concert. And I think it was Hello Nasty. And he was like 12 to 13, and we watched it right here where the Panthers, the hockey team, and we were there, and they played Something's Gotta Give, and my mind was blown because I didn't think it was a song that they would play in a concert because it's so slow. It was Nirvana for me. I was like, I was just like, I cannot believe they're playing that song, and it was fantastic. For me, that's in my top 10 all-time songs.
It's a dang good. Yeah, because every time I listen to this album, I only listen to it with headphones, and on the car ride here, we Something Gotta Give playing through the speakers was like,
it's amazing.
It was so much better than headphones. It was great.
When you know what the part I'm talking about, right? Something's got to give, and it just goes like almost like a reverb reside. That part is Nirvana for me. It's just, oh, I'm in heaven. It's so good. I never get tired of that song.
It's a good song, but it ain't as good as the track right before that.
Which one?
Time for Living.
Yep.
Living is fantastic.
That's my favorite as well.
That's such a badass song.
And the music video is amazing because they're shredding on their skateboards, and they're phenomenal skateboarders.
The guys can do everything, like I said before.
The dang old circus, they do everything.
Dude. But Time for Living flows perfectly into Something's Got to Give.
Yeah. And for me, it's the two together because they can't. They have to be together.
Yes, they have to be together. Like another one that's like that is the Blue Nun. When it goes into Stand Together, those two, and Blue Nun is just spoken pretty much, and then it flows into, oh my, that's fantastic. Those two together have to be, they have to. That's the one with list this again, Peter. When they're talking about the dinner party, that into Stand Together, it's fantastic. It's so awesome, man. It's so awesome. And they first tried that on Paul's Boutique when you say Paul, when the best clothing, try Paul's Boutique. It's the same thing. Then they did it with the Nun on this album. It's so good. I fucking love that. It's so good. All right, man. I'm sorry. I'm a little giddy because I freaking love this album. I love the Beastie Boys. I never got tired of them. I'll go back to them like every 3 months, and I just get into a Beastie Boys shit. My life is like cycles, It's just that's what it is in music. Led Zeppelin, yeah, right.
Me too.
You go
not just music, but everything.
Yeah, I'm going to Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin, Beastie Boys, whoever, and it's just for a month. That's all I hear. It's crazy. Jane's Addiction, and yeah, man. When you get older, you just go back to what you loved when you were in your teens, your 20s, and it's your jam. It's hard to break into those guys. It's tough. But, okay, I'll shut up.
We're definitely going to be interesting senior citizens when we get to be, you know what I mean?
No
You're
more
going to be like
oldies.
collecting a social security check, jamming out to check your head.
Yeah.
You know, or like us, we'll be listening to like other older stuff like Black Flag and Minor Threat and all that good stuff.
So I went to play basketball. I go to play basketball a lot, and I went like last week, and I got to the park like at 9 a.m, and I just go to shoot, right? It's very therapeutic for me, right? And I put this on. I take a little speaker and I put this on at the park, and I'm just there shooting, and this little guy, right? What's up? Hey, Sleepy, and he's shooting on the other court. I'm shooting on this court, and I'm just thinking, does this guy have any idea what I'm listening to? Probably not. He's probably like, look at this old guy just listening. Whatever that is. You know, he didn't say nothing. You know, I did talk to him, but I didn't ask him that. But I was just wondering that while I was shooting. Yeah, we're gonna be interesting senior citizens. I would say.
What about you, Donnie? You got a favorite track?
I do. I'm kind of partial to Pass the Mic. It's
good.
It's pretty good, but I cannot escape. Maybe it's because in my college days I picked up a certain 4-stringed instrument, but I can't escape Gratitude.
Great bass line, man. Great bass line. When I first heard that, I totally was like, this has got to be like a sound bite, because it's like straight up 70s rock and roll bass riff, you know?
Yeah.
Dude, I am.
You know, it just props to MCA for sticking it out with that, because he wrote that bass line in 1980.
Are you serious?
And it took 12 years for it to come to, you know.
Yeah, he wrote that. What, he was probably like 16, 17 when he wrote that? That's crazy.
Okay, MCA was he was my favorite one of the three, right?
Mine too. I think he was the majority of the brains.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the group. He was very, very intelligent when it comes to making tracks, mixing, and doing all that stuff. I mean, the stuff that I heard, you know, in the past that he did on coming up with the sound bite for Brass Monkey and all the stuff where he was stretching out. He had some stretched out tape and stuff like this, and it went this way, and that's how they got certain sounds and reversing everything. It's like he was a mastermind when it come to creativity.
He was amazing, dude. In that concert, when I saw them in concert that first time, he was playing the bass like on one of those big ass stand-up basses.
Yep,
and
right.
Dude, and I was so close I could see him, right? And he was just, dude, he was so blitzed. His eyes were like half open. He was, you know, he was so blitzed. And I was just, dude, he's such a badass. And on a big bass, and he's, you know, what is it, a stand-up bass? I guess that's what it is.
Yeah, an upright, yeah.
Yeah, an upright. Dude, it was insane.
I love how he plays when he plays bass guitar. His guitar way up high and his 2 feet, like as close to
yeah.
as they can be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like out of the three too. I like his voice, his singing style. Yeah, he had a excellent singing voice for out of the three.
Yeah,
I'm at right.
He was my favorite for sure. MCA.
Ad Rock all day.
Ad Rock?
Yeah. When you think Beastie Boys, you think his voice.
Yes.
You think Sabotage.
Ad Rock's down with the Ione. And then Mike D.
Any Mike D fans?
Mike D fans. Although I still like him. You can't do one. You can't have.
You can't. Yeah. Without all three, it just wouldn't sound right.
Yeah, it's not the Beastie Boys.
And then on Ill Communication, they bring in Q-Tip from Tripod Quest.
Yeah, that blew my mind when I heard that.
Bro, he fits right in. It's like flawless. It's like he's been one of them forever. It's insane. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good. People think about the Beastie Boys and they really, if you haven't listened to them, you kind of think they're a novelty act and you dismiss them. But there's so much more that you're the one that's missing. There's so much going on. You know, it's not, you know, it's three white Jewish guys, you know, they try to rap. It's so much more. They're not trying to be rappers. It's a whole different thing.
They're their own thing. Yeah.
They're not copying anybody. It's like a mix of everything.
Yeah.
And that's why they quit the hardcore band, because there was really no freedom to do anything different other than fast and loud. There wasn't no creativity to it.
They didn't want to sound derivative.
Yeah.
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 And the bands and the few hardcore bands that did do something different were patronized and held at the stakes for doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, look at Black Flag.
Yeah, Minor Threat were on the stake, held the Misfits on the stakes for selling T-shirts because they were selling out.
How stupid does that sound?
Dude, people said Minor Threat were sellouts because they got back together.
Well, how stupid.
The guitar went to college, and everyone's like, okay, if you do your thing, you're done. You have to do a new band. You're done. You're sellouts. And they made a song about it called Cashing In on their first album.
Some folks ain't happy unless they're bitching about something.
Yeah.
I guess that would be would you consider that gatekeeping? You know, it's like you gotta.
Nobody hates punks more than punks. That's a fact.
Right? Punks more than punks. That makes sense. It sounds about right. Dude. It's just, so stupid. It's so stupid. And the thing is, okay, I'm gonna sound old. The older you get and you hear stuff like that, it's like, God, why were we so stupid? Why were they selling out? Who cares? What does it mean to you? Who cares? They're doing their own thing. Did it work? Yeah, they could go back. Who cares?
But you know what? You know, it's also, from my personal experience, like a younger me would be like, yeah, they sell out. They suck. I don't like that. But it isn't until you get older and you go back and listen to it and like really listen to it, it's like, man, some good shit, man. I can't tell you how many different times I've resold myself or rediscovered something that I'm like, man, I missed out because like this kicks ass. And, you know, so many different scenarios and times where that's happened to me.
Oh,
You're like, man, fuck them. They sold out this, and that. And then you end up appreciating it later on.
Yeah. That happens a lot. Like, why didn't I like this? Maybe it's because you were young, you know? You had to mature to enjoy it or see it from a different way. It's funny. What's up, Bleak? So, all right. So overall, I am so happy. Out of all the albums, this is the one that I don't even remember the other albums I had. I remember one. This is the one that I was most excited for you guys to hear. Definitely. So I'm glad you know.
I wanted to say one more thing about Gratitude. The first time I saw the video for that, 25 years ago or more. It's the first time I realized they play their own instruments. Holy shit. It added a new layer to the Beastie Boys. Because like you said about, they're not a novelty act.
Yeah.
It was between that and this anthology that I realized they're like an onion.
Yeah.
If you peel back another layer, there's
They raised up their cred when you saw that they played their own instruments, right? It's like, oh, it made them almost more legit.
I found that out.
Yeah.
When I saw the Sabotage at the late night show.
Yeah.
That video, that's when I found that out. And that's a great live performance.
And that's why obviously I didn't hear this whole album, but the album that Sabotage and stuff was on, that's when I thought that was the album that brought them back to their instruments. I didn't know it was before on this one.
That was what I thought.
Because, seeing the performance on Letterman where they did Sabotage, and they're like, damn, them guys are good on their instruments,
They're pretty amazing. Bo, you heard Ill Communication?
Yeah, that's my favorite of them all. Because I think it's more perfected of this.
Yeah, that's perfect.
They shorten it up, cut off the slack, and
it's more condensed. It's tight. Did you hear that album, Ill Communication?
I haven't. I haven't heard full albums. I just heard, like, if I listen to them, I'll listen to it like on Spotify, where everything just mixes up their discography or something. So I never know what's on what album at any given time unless I'm constantly looking at the phone,
Okay, on that album, Bo, did you hear like the last? I think it's the second to last or the last song. It's almost the one that starts almost like a Buddhist chant, and it's a long ass song, and it kicks in, and it's hard as shit. You remember that? Did you like that?
Man, I know what you're talking about, but it's been a while.
Okay, you guys check out that song when you got time. It's like the second to last or the last song. It's long, and it's almost like with a humming, a Buddhist chant, and then they start rapping it, and it's just a flow. That song is probably like nothing I've ever heard, and that song to me is amazing. If you want to give that album, that song, pay attention to that song. I don't know the name of the song. It's I forget what it's called, but it's a bad song.
Sure Shot off Ill Communication is my favorite song of theirs. That's like a perfect Beastie Boys.
That's Beastie, yeah. That's on Ill Communication too, right?
Yeah, the first track.
Yeah.
That's one of the. It's funny because in this album they're like broke and they're piecing this album together. And the first music video on that song, they're wearing suits and they're in Las Vegas. It's like that album definitely did well for them.
Vegas or was it LA?
I think it was Vegas. I could be wrong.
I didn't see the video. I know, like during Paul's Boutique when they were doing that album, they were staying in that mansion.
Yeah.
That somebody still lived there, but they were out and they were like basically leasing it, renting it so they can stay there and record. And they talked about raiding the closets, and it was all this 70s clothes in the closets, and they were putting these people's clothes on and the platform shoes and the bell bottoms and this, that, and the other, and that's what kind of made me think of it.
That's punk, bro. They were an amazing group. They were an amazing group. All right.
Yeah, we were definitely lucky to have them around as long as we did.
Yeah.
Although another 10 years would have been better.
Man, when MCA died, it was just like, oh. It took the air out of me. I was like, I can't believe I was devastated. I was devastated when he passed because he was just see he was married. He had just gotten married. Yeah, it was a shame. He died way young.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's go. Beastie Boys was a hit. I'm happy. My albums could suck. You don't have to like them. This is the one that matters. We're good.
Spin that wheel.
Do it, Donald. I'm most excited for New Order. That's the one I want to hear most.
Really?
Yeah, because I actually heard the song. What's it called? Ceremony.
Ceremony.
Oh,
That song's great. That came up a while back, and I was like, dang.
When we do that, I'm gonna tell you a song that's not on that album that you're probably gonna like. That's amazing. It's an amazing. It's not on that album, but it's an amazing song. I got a few stories for that. For New Order.
All right.
Spin, motherfucker, Donald.
Hey, look up the song "Age of Consent."
Okay.
By New Order. "Age of Consent," and listen. Give that a listen to when you have a chance.
Oh! Oh!
Under the black sun.
Hey, little tiny Tim over here.
you're going tiptoe through the tulips.
This is probably the best album I picked. In my opinion, this is my. I don't know. Juju was good.
Well, out of the other ones, it ain't saying much.
Better than Atari Teenage Riot? Better than Atari?
This is legitimately probably my. This is as much of a defining boat album as there could be. Where this album is like personality. Like this is everything I like is in this album, like condensed.
Of the 4 albums that you picked, I have heard this album.
Really?
And I will agree that, yes, this is the best of the 4.
Yeah, their first album is.
I apologize.
When did that album come out? When did that come out?
Good old 1979. There's the old fellows.
I've never heard of them.
They were a LA punk band, famously in Decline of Western Civilization, the first one, and what's his name? Raymond Zarek was their manager and producer for their first 4 albums.
Really?
And they're basically the modern Doors because they were a whiskey go-go band, and they covered Soul Kitchen, and Raymond Zarek plays on them. So they're basically the Doors 2.0.
There we go.
I want to hear that.
But if
I love Rayman Zarek, man. He's
if the Doors was a 70s punk band, that would be X. So
Let's do it.
but with a female in the band.
I think this is probably top 5 greatest bands ever, in my opinion. Probably the best, greatest American band.
Damn, that's how you heard it.
Besides their rhymes.
Besides the Ramones. It's very the first album is very rockabilly influences, but
And this album is their second album?
their fourth album or third album, and it's my favorite of the first of the Manzarek 4. It's good. You're gonna like it. You will like it.
I better like it.
You will like it, motherfucker.
Gonna have problems. Big problems.
Pardon the language, sorry.
Donnie, put up.
I didn't mean to get so hostile.
Donnie, can you put up the review? I don't remember what album was on there.
Hang on a minute.
What do we have left? Yeah, we got the New Order. We got X.
Chemical Romance.
Chemical Romance.
More like John Denver.
We
John Sunshine on My Shoulders, Denver.
we have
there.
a first album coming.
A what?
We're gonna do a John Denver album.
Yeah,
This one right here.
That was your pick.
that was Donald's pick.
That was Donald's pick.
Donald.
Tree Road.
Capital D at the end.
So we got
Dang,
four.
that's a wire.
You order. Oh, Radiohead. That's the one.
2 for 2 for you guys.
This is all me and Donnie.
Yep.
Oh wow!
Tapped out officially.
I wonder which one's gonna be the last.
I blew my load early in the season.
Blew your load.
Oh, Kid A's gonna be interesting. That one, I think there's a 40%, 35 to 40% like that.
Which album is that of theirs?
Kid A?
Of Radiohead.
As far as order, it's their fourth.
Fourth album? Okay.
It's Pablo Honey. Oh, what's the Pablo Honey? Then it's I can't remember the name of the album. Then it's oh my god.
Isn't it the Benz, Pablo Honey?
This is their second, which is fantastic. That's more guitar driven. Then they went into Karma
Okay,
Police,
computer.
OK Computer, and then Kid.
Okay.
So it's their fourth. Their most popular album is, what did you just say? OK Computer. That one like album of the year. It was like the best album of the 2000s. It's on a lot of lists. And then Kid A is like great. Oh, we'll talk about that when it comes.
All right.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys are gonna like it, but I'm iffy about that one. Paul Boutique was the one that had the most hope for you guys, like. But this time we're listening to X and the what is it called? The Black Sun?
Yeah, Under the Big Black Sun.
Under the Big Black Sun. Never heard of that.
Think of me when you listen to it.
Right off the bat, it's going to be weird.
No, I think it's bad. The album sounds like driving through early 80s sketchy LA at night.
True.
Wasted a little bit.
I'm gonna put it on for my wife tomorrow
Taxi
morning.
Driver, but LA edition.
It really is LA Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
All right, that sounds good. I think I like that.
Yeah, I've heard this and Los Angeles.
Yeah. I went back and forth on the first three like crazy. Because their first one, I kind of listened to it too much. Their second one, I think Exene and John Doe, I think their album or their singing songs, I think they lean too far on one member than the other. And this one's more balanced where there's equal singing because each of their songs are very unique and their voices are as well. And I don't really like the production on the second one, but this one is perfect.
All right, let's do it. Next time. Somebody come.
Next time on Cover to Cover, X Under the Big Black Sun. Get out there and listen to Check Your Head and listen to it.
And check the comments because I'm posting the video for that too.
And I also want to. We lost the great this week. Little story. I was reorganizing my record collection, and I pulled this out on Sunday. And Rick passed away Monday. and then I was talking to a guy at work about his passing, and Hulk Hogan came up in the middle of it, and Rick did Hulk Hogan's Real American theme.
Oh,
So
really?
it was some weird coincidences. It's like, what is Rick trying to tell us? So rest in peace, Rick. You will be missed. Rock and roll hoochie coo.
Seems like we've been losing a lot of artists lately, right? Just seems like it.
Lot of people recently. George Wendt passed away. Loretta Swit passed away.
Oh yeah, I saw that today. Old Hot Lips. Hot Lips.
Yeah. We're not the only ones getting old.
All our heroes are.
Yep. The older we get, the older they are.
Right, and on that uplifting thought and message, we're gonna end it.
Get out there and listen to some music.
Yep.
Take your head.